Good day, family. How has everybody been? It has been crazy busy for me lately, and I just wanted to take a moment to share some information that I did not have when I went to Ghana and preparing to go to Ghana. And yes, it's the yellow fever shot. I am the type of person, I don't even like getting any kind of shot, nor taking medicine unless it's the last resort. So the information that's being shared in this video, I'm very grateful. The person that is sharing the information had a lot to share. And I just want you to know more about the yellow fever shot and your options. Options that I didn't even know that you had. So hopefully this video will enlighten you and give you more information that I didn't have when it comes to traveling abroad and determining what shots to get, what not shots to get, what's required, what's not required. Is there a way out of it, or is there not a way out of it? So listen up, take note, because this information you may not receive as it was received and given to my mom before she traveled abroad. The fever shot is the only shot that you have to get, even though they try to get you to get a whole bunch of other ones. But the yellow fever is the only one that Ghana says you have to have.
And I read somewhere where someone who got yellow fever, but they was sick for like maybe 3-4 days, something like that. And it was like a bad cold. And then they were okay.
Yeah. But it's not bad at all. I mean, I didn't have any problems.
But you had yellow fever?
No, I'm saying I had the shot. I didn't have any problems with the shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
The list of all the places in Washington, because I looked for Washington.
So
Delaware.
Washington was the main place that had the yellow fever shot.
It gives you the place throughout the whole country. And I just zeroed in on Delaware and Washington because we were coming to this area.
Right, but what's
they don't have any place in New Jersey.
But the website is
cdc.com.
Center for Disease.
Yeah.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good.
I noticed that you're down from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Why did you have to come that far?
I was just telling her, I went to where she was in Berlin. They said there was a national shortage.
Yeah.
So then I went to Cooper Medical, and they said they didn't have it, the yellow fever. And so then they sent me to Penn Medical in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And they said they were booked up until August 13th, 14th. And then they sent me to the website, and when I went to the website, I started calling the different. I went because we were coming here to pick up my passport and everything today. I just zeroed in on Delaware and Washington.
Okay.
And then this was the first place that said they could take me today.
Yeah.
Because I'll be here today anyway, you know. And that's how I got here.
I mean, we've seen people from Tampa, West Virginia, no one's from Manhattan made us $700.
Wow.
Which is, I feel like immoral, but whatever. Listen, we have to talk about this vaccine for you. Has anyone told you about yellow fever?
My daughter.
I had the shot.
Yeah. So there's a difference between you getting the shot and you getting the shot.
Okay.
Have you had this vaccine before, ever in your lifetime?
No.
Okay. All about where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing.
Okay.
For 2 weeks in Ghana.
Oh, basically, just being a tourist.
Oh, okay. All over.
And staying with friends and family.
Okay.
So staying mainly in Accra. Yeah.
Have you been there before?
This is my first trip.
Have you been to any malaria countries before?
No.
No, I don't think so. No.
So has anyone talked to you about malaria? Do we need to do everything, or have you gotten other stuff done someplace else? So some people just want the yellow fever, but you should be on anti-malarial pills. You need to hear about that. You should get some pills for travelers' diarrhea. You need all that stuff, right?
She's good.
No.
Yeah, just the
You don't want any of that?
Our system is good. Like our genes are good. Like we don't even get flu shots because.
No, I know I don't get flu shots because both of my parents had bad reactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, well, you'll probably have it too. So I said, well, that's it. No flu shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the yellow fever is a live vaccine. This vaccine has some risks to it.
Okay.
And those risks go up as we get older.
Okay.
So her getting the vaccine is kind of no big deal. You getting the vaccine is not no big deal. There are some potential serious side effects. Most people who get the shot, there's 20 to 30% of people get muscle achiness for a day or two, maybe a low-grade fever, maybe a mild headache.
Okay.
Usually a little bit of ibuprofen or Tylenol takes care of it. Did you have any reaction? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but as we get older, so this, when I first started doing this, they said 65 and above for people who have never had the vaccine before. And that was in 2002. And then they said 60 and above. And now they've lowered the age to 50 and above as a precaution. Not a contraindication, but as a precaution. So there's something called a viscotropic and a neurologic type, two different separate things, reactions that can happen. One is in 250,000, and the other is 1 in 125,000. But of the people that have those reactions, it can be very serious and even life-threatening. So I have printed out some additional 2 articles just so that you can look through this. They're 2 separate articles, so I'll let each of you look over one.
Okay.
And, really make sure you're making an informed consent here. So if you say to me, like, well, what are my other options, okay? So this, as you know, is a yellow fever country, right? Everything in this map is yellow fever. Yellow fever is spread through mosquito bites.
Right.
So the most important thing you can be doing is not getting any mosquito bites. So long sleeves, long pants, insect repellent with DEET.
Yes.
Now, there's something called a yellow fever waiver, okay? So some people say, I can't get that vaccine. I'm pregnant. Can't get the vaccine while you're pregnant or breastfeeding. And you can't get that vaccine if you're on a medication or have an illness that makes it unsafe to do this, right? And then we do a yellow fever waiver. So they're kind of, 2 issues. One is we want to protect you for yellow fever, but the other is you've got to get into the country. You need some sort of a document to get into the country. Now you can get into the country when you have the yellow fever stamp like you have. You can also get into the country when you have a waiver. So in theory, you could do a waiver. If you say to me, I don't want to do the yellow fever, it sounds too risky, the vaccine, write me the waiver. I'm just explaining this because I don't think that's a good idea, but I do think I want you to be aware that that's certainly an option. I would not do just the waiver because there is actually a real risk of yellow fever. It's not like you're going to a country where there's just a bureaucratic risk, There's a definite risk. So I just want you to weigh what are the risks versus the benefits of this vaccine. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let me give you guys a little bit of time to look these over, and I'll come back and answer the questions that you might have. Does that sound good?
Yeah. So basically, because of her age, it increases the chances of side effects.
Serious side effects, yes.
Okay.
Now, having said that, I've never seen that happen, and I give this vaccine a ton to people for the first time over the age of 70. I have a lot of folks that travel for work, they're still working, they've never had the vaccine before, and so, knock on wood, we've never had an issue, but statistically, someday we will, that's just the way this works, so. Okay. And then you should also know, from one of these articles, I think it's this, 60 years to millions of people around the globe, and this is what we found, but generally it's very, very safe. Okay, but I'll be back. Take your time.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you came from a long way. I just said somebody else who came from a long way. So, you're getting this vaccine, right? I just want you to take a second and think about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. All right. I know, right? But the thing about it is when I was over there, as far as, like they said, malaria and all that, there's actually a plant that's right in the yard that they make tea and you drink it and you're fine. So, and there's malaria pills over there, everything.
You're the one, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's like someone who said, I had sex once and I got pregnant. Well, there you go.
Right, okay.
Mhm.
I just had,
Yeah.
was at the doctor, she just did a test for my kidneys and something else, she said,
Mhm.
everything was fine,
Yeah.
so.
And no medications.
I have no medication, no
Mhm.
diabetes, no,
Mhm.
high blood pressure, anything like
Mhm.
that. Only thing is she wanted me to lose 10 pounds, so I'm working on it.
Our doctor is very strict with losing weight.
Oh, really? Do you guys have the same doctor?
Yes.
So, I mean, my job is to make sure
Right.
you know all of the all the things that there are to know. So I just
Yeah.
don't want there being any surprises, you know.
Yeah.
Most people end up choosing to get the vaccine, and
Mhm.
I know, I wish there was a way to have had this conversation beforehand. It just doesn't happen,
Mhm.
Yeah.
just so that you're not all the way down here. But you've already, I'm sure, bought your tickets and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
She's already ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Well,
Most people are.
Here, we're going to the embassy to
Yeah.
pick
Yeah.
I hear you.
up,
Like
my
one,
passport.
So it's just a matter of the waiver versus the vaccine, and I think the
Yeah.
risk of going there without the vaccine is
Right.
worse
Yes. Yes.
than the risk of the vaccine,
Mhm.
because 50% of people who get yellow fever die. So
Mhm.
that you don't want either. Like
Right.
that's a real risk,
Mhm.
Now I will tell you, since you're not taking antimalarials, 1 million people die every year of malaria. So I
Mhm.
really want you to be good with your DEET and insect precautions. Try not to get one single mosquito bite
Yeah.
because it is tough. Sickle
Mhm.
cell trait
Mhm.
helps protect a little bit, not from getting malaria, but from dying of it.
Mhm.
So, don't be thinking that just
Mhm.
because you have good genes, that's a protective mechanism for malaria.
Right.
Be
Yeah.
really strict with the mosquitoes, okay?
Yeah. Well, we have the stuff that they use there
Good,
to put on your skin
Okay.
every day. So she'll have that.
okay.
And then they have malaria pills over there.
Yeah.
Also.
And so treatment, even if you
Mhm.
have fevers or get sick up to
Right.
a year after you get back, make sure you remind your doctor, hey, remember we were in Ghana.
Right. Mhm.
So that people think about it, okay?
Yeah.
So this vaccine, as you know, is on a shortage, which means
I know, right?
that it's not. We don't have the American version of this vaccine. Sanofi is the only company that makes this vaccine around the
Mhm.
globe, and they've gotten special permission from the FDA to use their French vaccine. So that's what the shortage is. There's plenty of vaccine, but it's from France.
Mhm.
So they want you to know that you already been through this, right? That
I have.
you have to sign additional paperwork acknowledging that
Mhm.
this vaccine was not manufactured here in the U.S., so it's not FDA approved.
Mhm.
Because stuff that's not made here is not FDA approved. It makes it seem like it's experimental, but it's been
It's
around
not.
for
Mhm.
decades,
Okay.
And actually the safety profile with the Stamaril is a little bit better than with the American version on this older stuff, so.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
so when my assistant comes in, he'll bring in that additional paperwork that you have. You're not immunocompromised, and you haven't been, and that I told you shouldn't donate any blood for the next 30 days, because they just don't.
Well, they told me I had to wait a year when I went to donate blood.
A year after
Mhm.
going to a malaria area, but it should only be 4 weeks after getting all that
Wow.
vaccine.
Wow. Yeah. When I went, they told me I gotta wait a year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. All right. Any other questions?
No, I think that it causes a it says yellow fever is widespread in Saharan Africa and tropical South Africa.
Right.
Doesn't say anything about West Africa, unless that's the sub-Saharan part.
No. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said when you call around, when I was calling around, and they were saying, oh, you have to get this, and you have to get that, and you have to get this, and I'm like, it was adding up, and I
Yeah,
was like,
adding up.
oh no, I was like,
But she was saying $700.
In New York, $700, but that's why I said they making money.
No, but yeah,
Where
yeah.
over there it costs $50 US just to get the yellow fever shot. So yeah, they making money over here.
Where'd you come from?
New Jersey.
Oh my.
Yeah.
How long of a ride was that?
3 hours with traffic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing in New Jersey for
No.
yellow. That's so insane.
Nothing in New
Yeah.
Jersey
Hard to believe.
or Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They went from 2,500 sites that gave the yellow fever vaccine down to 400.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
It was every place we checked. New Jersey, they're totally out of it. And in Pennsylvania, the places I checked, they're booked up to August 13th, 14th.
And you wonder if people are like making plans and you
Mm-hmm.
don't plan them 10 years in advance, how are you gonna get that vaccine in time,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
But we had to come to DC anyway to pick up our visa today. So we said we might as well come here.
So you're gonna stick around a while and see
Yeah.
the sights? Good.
Yeah, we might as well.
Good.
Get something to eat.
It's a nice day.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not terribly humid out.
Right. She was like, "Is it a big needle?" I was like, "It's not that bad." Like, she don't like getting needles.
It's okay. All right, this is just a real little one.
Yeah, it's real quick.
The good news is this is a lifetime vaccine, so
Right.
a little bit of a stick. Well done. I'll put a Band-Aid on there for you.
So was it that bad?
No, it wasn't bad.
I think the worst part is the anticipation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where I gave it to you. Let's see.
See, that's small.
It's like up here somewhere. So it feels,
That feels like the area.
Yeah. it's a big Band-Aid, so
Okay.
hopefully we'll hit the right spot.
Okay.
Okay, you are good to go. We'll get you all checked out up front.
In what, 2 weeks? A week?
Yeah.
How you feel since you take the yellow fever shot?
Nothing. Like I not like I'm not having had anything.
No symptoms?
No symptoms or anything.
Now what about your arm? Do you still feel the
No.
soreness or anything?
No,
Nothing?
nothing.
Do you recommend it?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you hardly felt it.
Mm-hmm.
I hardly felt it,
Well, that's good.
and I don't like needles. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you know, she said she was done. I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
barely, felt that.
All right. Well, you're heading to Africa the first time by yourself. How do you feel?
I feel fine. It's a new experience.
All right.
And I'm trusting that it will be a very good experience.
Yes. Yes. So you got a good flight. You're flying from Newark straight over to Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and then to Ghana. So that's a good thing. You're not bouncing around.
No. One down and one up is fine.
Yes, yes. All right, so we'll be glad to hear your story once you get back.
Okay.